What's up? Hey everyone. Hey Amanda, welcome back. Hope, welcome back. Nikki, how's it going, Nikki? Hey Roxas Set, welcome to the stream. Katie, hey Katie, how's it going? Amanda, you had durian? Ew, it's disgusting. Durian tastes like, well, it smells worse than it tastes. Durian smells like, I don't know, I've heard it described as old shoe or rotten stuff. Yeah, but the taste is not that bad. I still don't like it. I still hate it. But it's all mushy. The texture is all mushy. Yeah. Yeah. Streety McMeaty, hey. Athena, what's up? DSK, hey, how's it going? Janelle. Yo, Fish. Hey, Fish. Oh, you got your bestie. Hey. Hi, Fish's bestie. Whoever you are. Welcome to the stream. Orava. What's up? Okay, so Losh from the chat recently told me what the name Boba came from. You guys want to know? So Boba actually means a lady with huge boobs. It's a lady with huge boobs. And the more another interesting thing is that the cup, Boba cup, it has the lid, right? And that it has that round lid. So apparently they use those round lids because it looks like, a boob. So I guess you gotta buy two whenever you buy boba. Yeah, which is weird because now whenever you drink it, it's like whenever I drink it, it's like you drinking milk from a boob, which makes me like it even more. That's so. Thank you, Losh, for that like fun fact. Hey, Losh is there. Hi. Nikki says, I wonder if Yilin is stealing watermelons. Matuz. It's 2:30 a.m. in your country. You know what? You gotta go to sleep, dude. Just go to sleep because that is very late. All right, so I was supposed to bring some Japanese snacks today, and I totally forgot. Yeah, not gonna lie. I'm being honest here. We're about honesty on this stream, so I forgot. So we can't eat Japanese snacks this stream, but what I can do is I'll make it up to you. Should we do karaoke? Do you want me to do some karaoke songs? Maybe at the end, if I'm not too tired and if my voice is okay. I don't know how it's gonna work because I've never done this on stream. Like, should I just play the karaoke videos like on YouTube or something? Yeah, hey Nikki, Losh, thanks for the boob knowledge. That was very interesting. Yeah, we'll see. So I don't know. Since I upgraded my internet, it should be good enough to play the YouTube video with without like killing the stream like it did a couple of days ago. Okay. Let's get started. So what happened last week? Okay, last week was a good chapter. Last week a lot of shit happened. So last week we finally get to the hand washing ceremony of Liu Chengfeng, right? So it's where he's supposed to leave to wash his hands and then leave the martial arts world. And then so we start the ceremony, and then suddenly someone from the government, from the imperial government, comes and promotes Liu Chengfeng to the rank of captain or something. Right, so it's a relatively small rank in the government, but they congratulate him, and he gives them a little money. He gives the government official a little money, and then they part. So at the beginning, everyone was ready to defend Liu Chengfeng because they thought the government was gonna come and arrest him or something. But then afterwards, they realized that he just got promoted, and they started. Everyone hated him, right? Everyone in the audience hated him because they think, oh, this guy just wants money. He just wants the fame and the money, and he doesn't care about the martial arts. So that's why he left the martial arts world to become a government official. But then the students and masters from the Songshang school comes over, and they tell him to stop. They stop the ceremony because they don't want him to do it. And then they reveal that Liu Chengfeng has been friends with this guy from the demon cult, and his name is Chu Yang. And they reveal their friendship. And it turns out the secret, Liu Chengfeng's secret, is that he is friends with this guy from the evil cult. And but he's just friends. He's not a bad guy. He's a musician. They're both musicians, and he just wanted to play music with his friends. So he just wanted to leave the martial arts world. Okay, the whole government stuff was just a ruse. He really just wanted to leave the martial arts world, and so that he can play music with his friend. Okay, it's a perfectly fine reason, but they wouldn't let him. The Songshan school people wouldn't let him, and they're like, no, this guy's evil, you gotta kill this guy. You gotta kill your friend. And Liu Chengfeng's like, no, I don't want to kill my friend. But then just things just ramp up, and the Songshan students, or the Songshan masters, they capture his family. Okay, and then they kill a bunch of people. So they killed a bunch of his students, they killed his daughter, they killed one of his sons, and they killed his wife. And then for his other son, they basically intimidated him until that son betrays his dad. He's like, the son's like, please, dad, just kill your friend. And it's totally tragic. And so they kill a bunch of his family. So basically, the Liu family is gone. Okay, his whole family is just destroyed. And Liu Chengfeng, he fights, and Liu Chengfeng tries to kill himself. He's like, okay, I'm just gonna kill myself because I have nothing else to live for. But then at that moment, his friend Chu Yang, the guy from the demon cult, comes in from the ceiling and he rescues his friend. And then they run out. And that was last chapter. A lot of shit went down. How was that? Losh says, I can see Linfamy get drunk and sing karaoke with a tie tied on his forehead, like those Japanese office men after work. Yeah, maybe. Can we do like a group karaoke? Like a karaoke party? Does anyone know how to do that? I think you gotta be on Zoom or something. I don't know. If I do that, would you guys join? I think you can only sing one at a time though. You can't sing in a group because of the lag. I don't know. Let me know if you guys want to do that. That might be fun. QP says, is the good guys kill your family and try to force you to kill your friend? Are they really good guys? Good question, QP. Are they really good guys? Can I growl? I can kind of growl. I can kind of sing rock songs. I think. But we'll just have to see, right? Dun, dun, dun. Nikki says Discord. Discord can do that? Are you sure? I was thinking like Google Hangouts, but if Discord can do that, yeah, we can do that. Yeah, if anyone knows how to do that, just let me know. And I'll look into it. Blowing Spring, can I request a song from the drama Fake Princess? Request any song you want. Just give me a link and we'll play it during the break. I'll be your DJ. I don't mind. BSK, you want me to sing Whitney Houston? Hey, I'll take your suggestions. Give me suggestions at the end of the stream. Give me a suggestion. I'll sing anything you want, as long as I know the song, and as long as it's in English. I'll sing whatever you want. Okay, like I'm not the best singer, but I'll make up for it in enthusiasm. How about that? Drift asks, "Are you okay from the fire?" The fire is pretty much contained now, so we're good. Like I don't have to leave my home, and my home is not gonna burn down. Yeah, so we dodged the bullet there, so it's good. We're good. See, if you look outside, there's no smoke outside my window. I think. Yeah. Anywho. Hey, Tanucha. Tanucha? Is that how you say your name? Well, welcome to the stream. All right, let's do this. Let's start. All right, guys. Chapter 7, Part 1, Music Score. Now, this is after Liu Changfeng and Chu Yang escaped. All right. Looks like we're now okay. Remember, Ling Hu Chong and Yilin were, they're still hanging out together. So I guess we're gonna talk about them now. Although Ling Hu Chong's injuries were very severe, with the help of the Hangchang Sword School's great medicines, heavenly connecting glue applied outside, and white cloud bear gallbladder pills taken orally, after just a day and 2 nights sleep by the waterfall, his wounds had started to heal. The fact that Ling Hu Chong was a strong man still in his youth, and the good amounts of inner energy developed from his martial arts training both contributed greatly to his fast recovery. During the day and 2 nights, all they had were watermelons. Ling Hu Chong had begged Yilin to catch some fish or wild rabbits for a change, but she would not give any ground, saying that only because of the blessing from the Buddha had Ling Hu Chong been able to narrowly escape from death, and it would be the best if he would become a vegetarian for a few years to show his grace to the Buddha. Remember, she's a nun, so she can't eat meat. There was absolutely no way that she would violate the prohibition of killing. Ling Hu Chong laughed at her pedantry, yet could not force her, so he had no choice but to give up. It was already dark. The two of them rested with their back against a big rock and looked at the many fireflies flying in and out of the bushes. The flickering of the many fireflies painted a beautiful picture of the midsummer night. In the summer before the last one, I caught 1,000 fireflies and placed them in dozens of gauze bags to hang in the room. That was a lot of fun, Ling Hu Chong said. Figuring with his kind of temper, he would never have made dozens of gauze bags out of his own will, Yilin asked, "It was your little apprentice sister who had asked you to catch those fireflies, wasn't it?" "You are smart," Ling Hu Chong smiled. "You got it right. How did you know my little apprentice sister asked me to do it?" "You have such a hot temper. Besides, you are no longer a kid. How could you have such patience to catch thousands of fireflies just for fun?" Yilin answered with a smile. "So what happened afterwards?" she asked. Little apprentice sister hung all these gauze bags inside her bed curtains. She said that with so many twinkling around her bed, she would feel like sleeping above the clouds. Every time when she opened her eyes, she would be seeing stars around her. "Your little apprentice sister certainly knows how to have fun. And she also got you, the apprentice brother, to join in with her. If she had wanted you to catch the stars in the sky, you would probably have agreed just the same," Yilin commented. "Talk about catching the stars in the sky. That was actually the reason why we caught so many fireflies," Ling Hu Chong explained. "That night, she and I went out to enjoy the cool breezes of the night. Yet, when she saw the twinkling stars in the sky, little apprentice sister took a deep breath. 'It's too bad that a bit later I'll have to go to bed,' she said. 'I'd rather sleep outside under the night sky, so when I wake up in the middle of the night, I'll see all the stars blinking at me.' That'll be so fun, but Mother definitely won't allow that to happen. So I suggested, why don't I go catch some fireflies and then put them in your bed curtain? In your bed curtain, they would look just like stars. So it was your idea after all, Yulin murmured gently. Let's see if they kiss in this chapter. Yeah, one person would be really happy if that happens. But the butterflies would be flying in all directions, little apprentice sister said. It would be so annoying if some of them landed on my face. I got it. Why don't I sew some gauze bags and put the fireflies in those? So she started making gauze bags while I worked on catching butterflies. Oh no, catching fireflies. We worked for an entire day and an entire night to get everything ready. It was too bad that we were only able to enjoy it for the first night. By the second night, the fireflies all died. Yilin's body shook at these words. All the thousands of fireflies died? How could you? Her voice quivered. Ling Huchong grinned. You wanted to say that we were cruel, didn't you? Ah, you are a Buddhist with a very kind heart. When it gets cold, those fireflies would have frozen to death anyway. They only died a couple of days earlier. What's the big deal? Actually, it's no different for us human beings. After a long silence, Yilin finally said quietly, some will die sooner and some will die later. Whether one dies sooner or later, he will die eventually. Buddha says that no one can escape the suffering of death, either by old age or by illness. It is so difficult to understand the ultimate truth regarding the cycle of life. Well said. That's why there's no need for you to worry about all those rules and regulations, such as no killing, no stealing, and so on. If the Buddha had to watch out for every little thing out there, he would probably become exhausted, Ling Huchong exclaimed. Speechless, Yilin turned her head away, just as a shooting star flashed across the night sky to their left, leaving a long, beautiful light trail. Apprentice Sister Yijing once said that when you see a shooting star, if you can tie a knot using the ribbon on your robe and make a wish at the same time, then the wish will come true, as long as you can finish both of them before the shooting star appears. Do you think that's real? Yilin asked. I don't know, Ling Huchong answered. Why don't we give it a try? But I don't think I can be that fast. He picked up the ribbon of his robe. Better get ready yourself. 1 second slower, you won't make it. Yilin picked up the ribbon of her robe and gazed at the night sky. Shooting stars were not rare in summer nights. Only a few minutes later, another one streaked across the sky. In a flash, it had vanished. Yilin only had enough time to move a finger, and the shooting star was already gone. Ah! She let out a gentle cry and then waited again. Soon another shooting star appeared. It streaked from the west to the east and lasted a short while. Yilin had very quick fingers and it actually tied a knot in time. Remarkable. Excellent. You finished the knot. Buddha Guanyin will surely bless you and make your wish come true, Ling Huchong cheered. I wonder what she wished for. All I thought about was how to tie the knot in time. I forgot to make a wish. Oh. Yilin heaved a sigh. You'd better think of your wish ahead of time, Ling Huchong grinned. Recite it a few times in your heart, so you won't forget to make your wish when you tie the knot. What should I wish for? What should I wish for? Holding the ribbon in her hands, Yilin thought aloud. She glanced at Ling Huchong and suddenly flushed, immediately jerking her head around. By then, several more shooting stars had streaked across the star-strewn indigo sky. Oops, another one. Well, wow, that was a long one. Did you tie the knot in time? You had enough time for that one, Ling Huchong shouted in excitement. But Yilin's mind was as confused as a tangled skein, whatever that is. Deep in her heart, she had a vague wish, but that was a wish that she didn't even dare to think of, not to mention asking the Buddha to grant the wish. Her heart thumped hard as the feeling of unspeakable fear mingled with unspeakable joy washed over her. Then she heard Ling Huchong's voice. Have you gotten your wish yet? Yilin asked herself gently in her heart. What should I wish for? What should I wish for? Raising her head slightly and watching one shooting star after another flashing across the night sky, she found herself lost in thought. You are not gonna tell me, are you? Let me guess. Oh, wait. You're not gonna tell me, are you? Let me guess. Ling Huchang grinned. No, don't. Yilin objected in a hurry. It's all right. Let me give it 3 tries and see if I can get it, Ling Huchang said with an even bigger grin on his face. If you don't stop, I'm leaving. Yilin stood up. Ling Huchang burst into laughter. Fine, I'll stop. There's nothing embarrassing about wishing to be the headmaster of the Hangshang Sword School. If only that were the only case. If only that were the case. Yilin was caught by surprise. He thought I wanted to be the headmaster of the Hangshang Sword School? I never thought of anything like that. How could I ever be capable of being a headmaster? She thought aloud. Suddenly, the dim sound of a string instrument floated in from a distance. It seemed that someone was playing a zither. Ling Huchang and Yilin exchanged a surprised look, both taken aback. Why would someone play the zither in such a wilderness? Chat is shipping Ling Huchang and Yilin. Ling Lin. I don't know. I don't like Yilin who. I think Ling Lin. Ling Hu Lin. Ling Lin's good. Ling Lin is good. Streety. Yeah, how can a man be so dense? Hey Empress Aqua, what's up? How's it going? Welcome to the stream. The sound of the zither continued, smooth and graceful, and moments later a few subdued sounds of a bamboo flute started playing accompanying the zither music. I remember Liu Changfeng plays the flute, and Chu Yang, his friend, plays the zither. The sound of the 7-stringed zither was pastel and placid. When blended with the clear and elegant flute play, the tone seemed to have become even more soothing and touching. The music was played as though the zither and the flute were holding an intimate conversation, and gradually the sound of music came closer and closer. Hey Fish, thanks for the super chat. A skein is a lot of wound up fiber like yarn. Oh, thanks. Yep, Ling Lin it is. Ling Lin is their ship name. Hope. You had canned boba. Ew. Was it like all soggy? Because I would think canned boba is all soggy. Playing music here at this moment is kind of odd. Ling Huchang leaned toward Yilin and whispered to her ear. I'm afraid they might be hostile. No matter what happens, don't make any noise. Yilin nodded. The sound of the zither gradually became louder and more sonorous, while the sound of the flute became lower and deeper. But the notes played by the flute were low yet unceasing, almost like a silk thread swaying in the breeze, incessant and soul-stirring. Amid the music play, 3 shadows walked out from behind the big rock, following a small path. At the moment, a shallow cloud blocked the moon, so everything was enveloped in a shade of blur, and Ling Huchang could vaguely tell that the group consisted of 2 tall ones and a short one. The tall ones were 2 men, and the short one was a girl. The 2 men walked by a big rock in easy ambles and sat down, one playing the zither and one playing the flute. Quietly, the girl stood by the side of the zither playing man. Slowly, Ling Huchang retracted himself back into hiding behind the rock wall, afraid that those 3 might see him. The melodious play of zither and flute continued in great harmony. There's a waterfall right next by. Yet the thundering of the falling water still cannot cover the soft and smooth music, Ling Huchang thought aloud. These 2 players' inner energy must have reached a remarkable high. Oh, I see. The sound of the waterfall is exactly the reason why they came here to play the music. It has nothing to do with us. At that thought, he felt more relaxed. So they're actually using their chi to play their music, to play the flute and the zither. And And just by listening to the music, he can tell that they're very powerful martial artists. Suddenly, the sound of the zither turned loud and forceful, with the implication of battle and fights. But the flute play remained elegant and graceful. After a while, the zither play also turned mild and gentle, and both the zither and the flute switched between high notes and low notes back and forth. All of a sudden, the sounds of both the zither and the flute changed completely, as though there were many zithers and many flutes playing together in an orchestra. Although the music had changed into something magnificent with many complex, florid notes, each tone and cadence stayed clear and meaningful, and the melody remained pleasing and moving. Ling Huchong could feel that his mind had been completely captured by the music, and almost couldn't help but stand up. After another while, the tone of the zither and the flute changed again. This time, the flute took over the lead, and the zither simply accompanied with soothing chords. Soon the sound of the flute play ascended higher and higher. Out of nowhere, the feelings of grief and sadness rose and washed over Ling Huchong's heart. He turned to look at Yilin, only to find tears rolling down her cheeks like streams. A loud ring echoed suddenly. Then the zither and the flute fell silent at the exact same instant. Silence swept across in all directions. All there left were the moon, shining high and bright in the indigo sky, casting still shadows from the endless of trees on the ground. Some grammar mistakes there. A voice said slowly, "Brother Liu, it must be fate that you and I have to die here today. It was really my fault that I didn't act sooner. Otherwise, your entire family and all your apprentices wouldn't have lost their lives. I am so deeply disturbed." Okay, so it is Liu Changfeng and Chu Yang. "We are friends with unsurpassed devotion. There's really no need to explain," another voice replied. Hearing that voice, Yilin suddenly remembered. "That's Uncle Master Liu Changfeng," she whispered at Ling Huchong's ear. Neither of them had any idea about what had just happened inside Liu House, so both were stunned beyond words when they suddenly made out Liu Changfeng in the remote valley and hear his companion saying something like, "You and I have to die here today, and your entire family and all your apprentices have lost their lives." "No one can escape the destiny of death," Liu Changfeng said. "Having met the soulmate in his living, one would die with no regrets." "Brother Liu, your flute play today seemed to have the implication of some kind of regret. Are you regretting about how your son cravenly clung to life instead of brave out death in the face of danger, and brought humiliation to your reputation?" the other man asked. "Big brother you guessed it right. I have really spoiled the child too much and didn't teach him well, shaping him into such a coward with no integrity," Liu Changfeng sighed deeply. "With or without integrity, it's all the same," Chu Yang comforted him. A hundred years later, we will all rot into dust. What's the difference? When I was hiding on the rooftop, I should have acted sooner, but I figured you wouldn't want me to ruin your relationship with your friends in the Five Mountains Sword Alliance for my sake. I also thought about the vow I had with you, that I would never hurt anyone in the chivalrous side. That's why I waited and waited. Who would have expected that the Songshang Sword School, the school housing the Alliance chief, would act so viciously? So like the main leader of the Alliance is the leader of the Songshang Sword School. Liu Changfeng did not answer, and for a long while kept his silence. Eventually, with a deep sigh, he spoke again. How would any of these vulgar people ever understand the high spirits and graceful friendship of ours in music? Appraising with normal sense, they of course are convinced that our association would greatly harm the Five Mountains Sword Alliance and the chivalrous side. Alas, they don't understand, and we cannot really blame them. Big brother you, big brother Chu, were you hit at your Daji point, which shook your heart arteries? Yes, Chu Young answered. Songshang style inner energy is truly outstanding. When I took the hit on my back, I had no idea that the inner energy would be so strong to have passed through my body and broke your heart arteries with the shock, too. If I'd known earlier that you couldn't have escaped the hit either, I wouldn't have shot out that cluster of black blood sacred needles. Hurting more innocent people wouldn't have helped any bit. Luckily, those needles were not poisonous. Hearing the name Black Blood Sacred Needles, Ling Huchong felt his heart skip a beat. This man saved my life. Could he have been an elite fighter of the demon cult? If that's true, why would Uncle Master Liu befriend him? Liu Changfeng let out a slight smile. But thanks to that, we got to play the zither and the flute together one last time. From now on, there will never be any zither and flute play like that. Chu Yang heaved a deep sigh. Legend has it that before Qi Kang was executed, he played his zither one last time, and regretted that the Guangling song music would be lost forever after his death. The Guangling song sure is wonderful, but how can it compare to the Smiling Proud Wanderer song we just played? However, Ji Kang probably felt just the same like how we feel today. Now we know why the whole series is named Smiling Proud Wanderer. It's the name of their song that they created. Big Brother Chu, you were quite enlightened just minutes ago. How come you just turned rigid again? Liu Changfeng smiled. Our play of the Smiling Proud Wanderer song tonight has brought out the best of the music. The music had already existed once in the world, and we have already played the song together once. What more could we ask for? You are right. Chu Yang clapped his hands gently. Then a short moment later, he sighed again. What's the matter, big brother? Ah, I see. You are worrying about Feifei, Liu Changfeng said. Feifei? Could that be the same Feifei? Yilin thought to herself. Then sure enough, she heard Chu Feiyan's voice. The Chu Feiyan, remember, Chu Feiyan was the little girl that took her to see Ling Huchong when he was in trouble, when he was like lying in that brothel. Yeah, so it turns out she has some relation to Chu Feiyan, Chu Yang. Grandpa. Okay, so she's Chu Yang's granddaughter. Grandpa, after Grandpa Liu and you gradually recover from your injuries, we'll wipe out every one of those Songshang villains and avenge Granny Liu and the rest of them. Suddenly, a long laugh rose from behind the rock wall. Amid the echoing of the loud laugh, a dark shadow had jumped out. Light of reflection flashed, and the next moment, a man appeared in front of Chu Yang and Liu Changfeng, holding a long sword in his hand. He was none other than the great Songyang Palm Fei Bin of the Songshang Sword School. Ah, shit. They found them. Wait, Katie, what is wrong with my pronunciation of Fei Fei? Was that not right? Fei Fei? Dun dun dun. Okay. It's been half an hour, I think. Let's take a break. Like a 5-minute break. Okay, does anyone have any song recommendations? If not, then I'm gonna play my own stuff. It sounds like the word for this kind of monkey. Oh no. Was I pronouncing it right or was that wrong? Oh, let's play Guangling San. How about we do that? Dun dun dun. Come on, internet. No, found it. Alright, guys. 5-minute break. Be right back. Enough of that. It's gonna go on for a while, so I stopped it. Dun, dun, dun. So that was the zither that I think she's playing she's playing the same zither that Chu Yang plays. Wait, let me change to the live screen. Yeah, there you go. Alright, let's do this. Dun dun dun. How can you find that? Alright. I will post it in chat. There you go. Alright, so Fei Bin from the Songshan school comes over and he says, "Hey, this little girl certainly likes to talk big. She wants to wipe out the entire Songshan sword school. But I doubt everything will go as you wished," Fei Bin said with a cold sneer. "Fei Bin, you have already killed my entire family, and I could die any minute now thanks to the palm strikes from your 2 apprentice brothers. What else do you want?" Liu Changfeng stood up. "Didn't this little girl say to wipe out everyone? I'm here to wipe everyone out," he said with an arrogant grin. "Little girl, why don't you come here and be the first one to die?" "What, you gonna kill a little girl?" "Fei Fei and her grandpa saved your life. You have to think of something to save them," Yilin pleaded with Ling Huchong in whisper. Even before she had said anything, Ling Huchong had already thought hard about ways to help them, thus repay the favor to the grandpa and granddaughter. But firstly, the opponent was an elite fighter of the Songshan sword school. Even if he hadn't incurred any injuries, he still would be no match for Fei Bin. Secondly, he had already found out that Chu Yang was a member of the demon cult. The Huashan sword school had always considered the demon cult an evil enemy. How could he help an enemy? The conflicting thoughts wavered in his mind, and he simply could not decide what to do. "Fei Bin, you are a well-known master in a famous sword school. Since Chu Yang and I are in your hands now, you can kill us or torture us all you want. But what would you become if you bully a little girl? Fei Fei, go! Leave!" Liu Changfeng urged. "I'd rather die together with Grandpa and Grandpa Liu. I won't live alone," Chu Feiyan exclaimed. "Hurry up! Go now!" Liu Changfeng urged again. "This is a matter between adults. It has nothing to do with a child like you." "I won't go," Chu Feiyan insisted. Drawing 2 short swords by her waist, she rushed forth to hide Liu Changfeng behind her. "Fei Bin, Grandpa Liu spared your life earlier, and now you are still requiting kindness with enmity. Aren't you ashamed of yourself?" she shouted. She's a well-spoken little girl. "You said you would wipe out our entire Songshan sword school. Are you starting already? Do you expect me to just stand here and get slaughtered? Or should I turn around and run away?" Fei Bin mocked in a chilling tone. Liu Changfeng grabbed at Chu Feiyan's arm. "Hurry up! Go now!" he said hastily. But because the shock from the Songshan-style inner energy had broke his heart arteries, and the play of the smiling proud wanderer had also used up his last bits of strength, the grab became so weak. With an easy pull, Chu Feiyan had freed her arm from Liu Changfeng's hand. Suddenly, reflections flashed in front of her eyes, and Fei Bin's longsword was already on its way toward Chu Feiyang's face. She blocked the thrust with her left short sword, and immediately thrust out the right short sword. Feibin sneered as he circled his sword tip back and smacked it against Chu Feiyang's sword in her right arm. A stream of numbness and pain shot through Chu Feiyang's right palm and her entire right arm. The sword in her right hand flew out of her grip instantly. Feibin shook his sword in an angle and then poked backward. Clank! The sword in Chu Feiyang's left hand was almost knocked out and flew dozens of feet away. Before Chu Feiyang even had a chance to react, Feibin's longsword was already pointed at her throat. Sword fight. Feibin turned to Chu Yang, a cold grin on his face. Elder Chu, how about I first prick out your granddaughter's left eye, then cut off her nose, and then cut off her 2 ears? Man, these guys really want to cut off people's noses, don't they? Chu Feiyang screamed loudly. She jumped forth and threw herself at the longsword. Feibin retracted the sword swiftly as he poked out with his right index finger, and Chu Feiyang fell to the ground like a rock. Feibin burst into loud laughter. You wicked demons, he yelled. With so many crimes you have committed, I am not going to let you die this easy. Let me first prick out your left eye. He raised his sword and pierced it down toward Chu Feiyang's left eye. Hold it! Someone shouted from behind him suddenly. Astounded, Feibin quickly turned around and waved his sword about to block any possible attacks. He had no idea that Ling Huchong and Yilin were actually hidden behind the rocks even before he arrived. Otherwise, with his outstanding kung fu skills, nobody could have sneaked behind him without him noticing it. Under the dim moonlight, he saw a young man standing still, his hands on his hips. Who are you? Feibin asked in a yell. Ling Huchong of the Huashang Sword School. Ling Huchong of the Huashang Sword School here shows his respect to Uncle Master Fei. Ling Huchong answered. He bowed to salute, but his body started shaking, and he had a hard time keeping himself balanced. Fine, so it's the senior apprentice of apprentice brother Yue. Feibin nodded. What are you doing here? I was injured by a Qincheng apprentice, and I was healing my wounds here, thus having the honor to meet you, Uncle Master Fei. Huh, it's perfect that you're here, Feibin snorted. This little girl is an evil member of the demon cult. She deserves to be executed. If I have to finish her off myself, I would look like a senior bullying a junior. You, go ahead and kill her, he pointed at Chu Feiyang. Ling Huchong shook his head. This little girl's grandpa calls Uncle Master Liu of the Hangshang Sword School a brother, so that would make her even one generation lower than I am. If I kill her, people would say that a Huashang Sword School senior bullied a junior. Once the news gets out, it probably won't do much good for our reputation. Besides, this Senior Master Chu and Uncle Master Liu are both badly wounded. To bully a junior of theirs right in front of them wouldn't be the right kind of behavior for a true gentleman. Our Huashang Sword School certainly wouldn't do anything like that. Uncle Master Fei, will you please pardon me? He had clearly implied that if the Songshang Sword School did the thing the Huashang Sword School disdained to do, that would obviously make the Songshang Sword School far less graceful than the Huashang Sword School. Feibin knitted his brows, and a ferocious look appeared in his eyes. So you are secretly collaborating with the demon cult too, he bellowed in a stern voice. That's right. Liu Changfang mentioned earlier that this demon Chu had helped with your wounds and saved your life. I certainly did not expect an impressive Huashan apprentice to have submitted himself to the demon cult so quickly. The sword in his hand started to vibrate, and cold reflections flashed from the blade. He was about to thrust his sword at Ling Huchong. Nephew Ling Hu, you have nothing to do with this. There's no need for you to mix yourself up in this. You should leave quickly to avoid getting your master into an awkward position, Liu Changfang urged. Ling Huchong laughed. Uncle Master Liu, we all consider ourselves part of the chivalrous side, and irreconcilable with the evil side. What does the word chivalrous really mean? Is it considered chivalrous to bully someone who has severe injuries? Is it considered chivalrous to kill an innocent little girl? If we were capable to lower ourselves to commit such deeds, what makes us different from the evil side? Even our demon cult doesn't do things like that, Chu Yang said with a sigh. Little brother Linghu, why don't you leave now? If the Songshang Sword School likes to do such things, then just let them do as they wish. I am not leaving, Ling Hucheng refused, a broad grin emerging on his lips. Great Songyang Palm, Hero Fei enjoys a great reputation in the martial world. He is one of the best masters in the Songshang Sword School. I am sure he was just trying to scare the little girl with harsh words. How could he actually commit such shameless deeds? Uncle Master Fei is not that kind of guy. He folded his arms in front of his chest and leaned onto the trunk of a pine tree. A strong wish to kill washed over Fei Bin, and he grinned hideously. You think you can just tie me up with your words, so I have to let these 3 devils walk free? Keep on dreaming. Well, since you have submitted yourself to the demon cult, what difference does it make for me to kill 4 instead of 3? He took a step forward. Seeing the hideous look on his face, Ling Hucheng was astounded, yet he kept the same face as he pondered hard for an idea to get out of trouble. Uncle Master Fei, are you thinking about killing me to rid the witness? Aren't you? You are thinking about killing me to rid the witness, aren't you? He asked. Hey, you're smart. That's right. Fei Bin had no intention to deny. He took another step forward, forcefully. Suddenly, a young nun walked out from behind the rocks. Uncle Master Fei, the sea of bitterness has no bounds. Repent, and the shore is at hand. You only have the intent to commit a crime, yet the crime has not been committed. It's still not too late to rein in at the brink of the precipice. That was Yilin. Although Ling Hucheng had instructed her to hide behind the rocks and not to let anyone see her, seeing the danger Ling Hucheng was in, she immediately walked out without much thinking, hoping to convince Fei Bin to stop with her sincere advice. Fei Bin was caught in great surprise. You are from the Hangshang Sword School, right? Why are you hiding here in such a sneaky way? He demanded. Yilin blushed and could only murmur. Chu Feiyan lay on the ground, still. She could not move any of her limbs because of her sealed pressure points, but she could still talk. Sister Yilin, she shouted. I knew you'd be together with big brother Linghu, so you did heal his wounds. Too bad we are all going to die soon. No, we won't. Yilin shook her head. Uncle Master Fei is a renowned hero in the martial world. How could he hurt such a severely wounded man or a little girl like you? Is he really a renowned hero? A true man? Chu Feiyan. Wait, that's the girl. Is he really a renowned hero? A true man? Chu Feiyan only sneered. The Songshang Sword School houses the alliance chief of the 5 Mountains Sword Alliance, the leader of the chivalrous side of the martial world. They would, of course, follow the chivalrous rules first, and no matter what they do, Yilin emphasized. She had really said those words sincerely and honestly, but in Fei Bin's ears, it all sounded like sarcastic ridicules. In for a penny, in for a pound, he thought aloud. If I let any one of them leave here alive, my reputation would be ruined forever. Even though I am killing demons of the demon cult, killing wounded people and prisoners is not the kind of act of a true man, and will surely be looked down upon by others. At that thought, he pointed his sword at Yilin. Well, if you don't want to be looked down by others, just don't do it, dude. You are neither severely wounded nor a little girl that cannot move. I guess it's all right to kill you then. Greatly stunned, Yilin took several steps back. Me? Me? Why would you want to kill me? In a trembling voice, she asked in disbelief. You ganged up with the demons of the demon cult. That little devil even called you a sister. You are obviously taking the demon's side. Of course I won't let you go. He took another step forward and was ready to thrust his sword at Yilin. Ling Hucheng hurriedly rushed in front of Yilin, hiding her behind him. Apprentice sister, run! Quick! Ask your master to come save us, he shouted loudly. He knew clearly that water a mile away wouldn't extinguish the fire close by. Asking Yilin to go seek help was just another excuse to get her out of there, staying away from danger. Fei Bin waved his sword and thrust the tip of the blade toward Ling Hucheng's right shoulder. which Ling Huchong dodged by turning to the side hurriedly. Then, Fabian thrust out 3 more continuous moves, which Ling Huchong was only able to escape, barely. Yilin was extremely worried. She drew the broken sword by her waist in a hurry and thrust it at Fabian's shoulder. Big brother Ling Hu! Big brother Ling Hu, you have injuries! Stay back, she shouted. I see. The little nun has forgotten all about the prohibitions. After seeing a handsome lad, she doesn't even care about her own life anymore. Fabian let out a stream of laughter. He slashed his sword straight down. Clank! The 2 swords collided, and Yilin's broken sword was instantly knocked out of her grip. Fabian pushed his sword forward, and the sword headed straight toward Yilin's heart. Fabian figured that he had as many as 5 people to kill, even though none of them could really put up a decent fight with him, but a long delay would mean many hitches, and he couldn't afford to let any one of them escape. Otherwise, there would be endless trouble. That was why he was so determined to use deadly moves. Ling Huchong jumped on Fabian, poking 2 fingers of his left hand at Fabian's eyes. Fabian pushed the ground with his toes and leapt backward, slicing his sword conveniently, following his body movements, which left a long cut on Ling Huchong's left arm. Ling Huchong's fierce attack with disregard to his own life saved Yilin from being stabbed, but it also exhausted all his strength that he could hardly breathe, his body trembling hard as if he could collapse any second. Yilin rushed forward and held onto his arms. "He will have to kill the both of us," she exclaimed in a sobbing voice. Run! Run away now! Hurry up!" Although totally out of breath, Ling Huchong managed to squeeze out these words. "You dummy!" Chu Feiyan grinned. Don't you understand what she wants? She wants to die with you." Before she could finish, Fabian's sword had already penetrated her heart. Oh no! Wait. Did he kill her? Xu Yang, Liu Qiangfeng, Ling Huchong, and Yilin all screamed in disbelief. With a hideous grin on his face, Fabian slowly took a step toward Ling Huchong and Yilin, then another step, then another. Blood dripped down from the tip of the sword, one drop after another. Ling Huchong's mind fell into a state of chaos. He actually killed the little girl. How vicious. I am going to die too. Why does Apprentice Sister Yilin want to die together with me? Yes, I've saved her before, but she has saved me too, and has repaid the favor she owed me. I had never known her before. We are just apprentice brother and sister of the 5 Mountains Sword Alliance. There is, of course, the code of honor in the martial world, but she doesn't have to sacrifice her life for that. I never thought an apprentice of the Hangshang Sword School would take brotherhood of the martial world so seriously. Sister Ding Yi must be a remarkable person. Ah, it's this apprentice sister Yilin who will die together with me, not my little apprentice sister Ling Shan. Talking about Ling Shan, what is she doing right now? With a gentle sigh and a slight smile, he shut his eyes tight and completely ignored the dreadful face of Fei Bin that was getting closer and closer. Patrick says, what is this Three Stooges combat technique? Yeah, I know, she died. What the fuck? That's not cool. All of a sudden, several faint sounds of Hu Qin came into his ears. The tone was filled with sadness, almost sounded like a sigh, yet also sounded like a sob. The sounds quivered like drops of rain falling on leaves. Very surprised, Ling Huchong opened his eyes. A shock went through Fabian's heart. Night Rain of Xiaoqian, great Mr. Mo is here. So remember, Mr. Mo is the head of the Hangshang Sword School, the same school as Liu Qiangfeng. So supposedly the two had a rift. Okay, there's a rift in the Hangshang School, and Mr. Mo and Liu Qiangfeng are supposed to hate each other. The music played by the Hu Qin became even more depressing, but great Mr. Mo remained behind the trees. Great Mr. Mo, why don't you come out? Fabian yelled. Music from the Hu Qin stopped. A thin figure walked out from behind a pine tree. Ling Huchong had long heard of the fame of the night reign of Qiaoxiang and great Mr. Mo, but he had never seen him in person before. Now, in the dim moonlight, he could see a man standing in front of Fei Bin. He was so thin that he was a mere skeleton, and his back arched badly. He looked almost like someone who was so ill that he could collapse down and die any second. Who would have thought that the well-known headmaster of the Hangshang Sword School had such a wretched appearance? Great Mr. Mo cupped his hands toward Fei Bin, still holding the Hu Qin in his left hand. Apprentice brother Fei, how is Alliance Chief Zhuo? He greeted. Seeing that Great Mr. Mo hadn't come with any ill intentions, and also knowing that he didn't get along with Liu Changfeng, Fei Bin answered, Thanks for asking, Great Mr. Mo. My apprentice brother Zhuo is just fine. Liu Changfeng of your respectful school collaborated with the demon cult and had plotted against our Five Mountains Sword Alliance. Great Mr. Mo, what do you think we should do? Great Mr. Mo took 2 steps toward Liu Changfeng and said in a chilling tone, We should kill. Right after the word kill, a thin and narrow longsword appeared in his hand out of nowhere. Cold reflections flashed when he thrust the sword hard backward. The tip of the blade went straight toward Fei Bin's chest. His sudden attack was so fast and swift that it almost looked unreal. That was one of the unique moves of the magical 13 phantom stances of the Hangshang Mist. Fei Bin had fallen for this unique style of kung fu from Liu Changfeng earlier in the Liu house, and now he fell for it again. In great astonishment, he jumped back as quickly as he could, but it was still not quick enough. In a tearing sound, the sword sliced across his chest. His robe was cut open, and a long cut appeared on his chest. Although the wound was nothing serious, because of his surprise and anger, he had lost his edge in spirit. Fei Bin immediately started his own attack, but Great Mr. Mo had taken control of the initiative with his first move, and his attacks poured out continuously, one wave after another. The thin sword twisted and vibrated like a serpent, flying swiftly in between Fei Bin's sword flashes. Fei Bin was forced to retreat back a step, then another, without a chance to utter a cry or swear. Chu Yang, Liu Changfeng, and Ling Huchong were all taken aback by the magical and ghost-like sword moves of the great Mr. Mo. Liu Changfeng had studied with him in the same school and had been his apprentice brother for decades, but even he did not expect such outstanding and magnificent sword skills out of him. Drops of blood splashed out between the 2 swords. Fei Bin jumped and dodged and ducked, trying his best to block away the attacks, but he still couldn't escape the cage of light created by Great Mr. Mo's fast sword. The splashing blood gradually made a red circle around them. Suddenly, Fei Bin uttered a long scream and jumped high in the air as Great Mr. Mo took a few steps back. Shoving his sword into the Hu Qin, Great Mr. Mo turned on his heels and strolled away. A song of night reign of Xiaoshan rose from behind the pine trees, and soon the music fainted into the distance. That's kind of badass. Fei Bin collapsed into the ground after his jump. Blood sprang out from his chest and up into the air like a fountain. In the fierce fight, he had loaded the Songshang-style inner energy. When his chest was stabbed, the inner energy was still circling inside his body and started pumping blood out from the wound. Such a scene was strange, yet horrifying. Dude, the guy just came in, killed the dude, and then just walked away. Yilin held onto Ling Hucheng's arm, her heart thumping like a drum. You didn't get injured again, did you? She asked in a whisper. Chu Yang heaved a sigh. Brother Liu, you had mentioned before that you don't get along with your apprentice brother. Who would have thought that he would save us when we are in danger? My apprentice brother always behaves in such odd ways. I really have no idea beforehand what he might do. We don't get along. It has nothing to do with the fact that I'm rich and he's poor. It's just that our temperaments don't agree with each other, Liu Changfeng explained. His sword skills are so outstanding, but the music he played with his Hu Qin only showed sadness and depression that will move the audience to tears. His music play is too vulgar. He still cannot get rid of the sordid street tone in his music. Chu Yang shook his head. Exactly. Liu Changfeng couldn't agree more. Apprentice Brothers' Huchin play has no circulation in the chords, and the tone always goes far too deep into the sadness. Good poems have regards about joyful, but not fancy, yet not depressing. What's so different about music? Every time when I hear his Huchin play, all I want to do is to run away, to run as far away as possible from it. Ling Huchong couldn't help thinking to himself, these two are simply obsessed with music. Even in such a life-threatening situation, all they could think of are sad yet not depressing, and vulgar versus graceful. If it weren't Uncle Master Mo who got here in time, we would all be dead. What a pity that the little girl Chu had to be murdered by Fei Bin. That's true, huh? Like his granddaughter died, but all he could talk about is music. Liu Xiangfeng continued, but regarding sword skills and kung fu skills, I am really far behind. In the old days, I haven't really showed a lot of respect for him. Now, when I think about it, I truly regret it myself. The headmaster of the Hangshang Sword School really lives up to his reputation. Chu Yang nodded in agreement. He turned to Ling Huchang. Little brother, I have a favor to ask of you. Will you do me this favor? Senior master, please, of course I will, Ling Huchang answered. Chu Yang cast a side glance at Liu Changfeng and then said, Brother Liu and I love music to the extreme. We spent several years writing this song called Smiling Proud Wanderer. We believe this piece of music is so unique that during the past millennium there was nothing even close to it. From now on, even if there will be someone like Chu Yang again, there might not be a Liu Jiangfeng, and if there will be someone like Liu Jiangfeng, there might not be a Chu Yang. If there will be people like Chu Yang and Liu Jiangfeng, the two of them might not be born during the same period of time to meet and become friends. To find two who are good not only in music, but also in inner energy, yet have the same taste and similar level of kung fu skills, to create a piece of music like this is more difficult than finding a needle in a haystack. If this piece of ultimate music gets buried into oblivion, Brother Liu and I will undoubtedly sigh with regret in the underworld. Taking a book of manuscripts from his chest pocket, he continued, This is the music score of the Smiling Proud Wanderer song. Little brother, for the sake of the great devotion and efforts the two of us put in this, will you please find the right kind of people to give this to? If the world gets to know the Smiling Proud Wanderer song, then Big Brother Chu and I will be able to die content, Liu Changfeng added. Ling Huchang bowed and took the music score manuscripts from Chu Yang with both of his hands and put it into his own pocket. All right. Let's take a break, guys. There was an old Chinese TV series about this series, about this book, and it has a really good song. So I'm gonna play that one for you in the break. All right, guys, 5 minutes. Be right back. All right, I'm back. You guys, I'm so sad that that little girl died. What the hell? I read the book before, but I forgot that she died. Ah, Fei Fei, why did you die? And how can you kill a little girl like that? Yeah, dude deserved his blood fountain death. Oh, totally. I wish I have AC too. Jesus. Hey, Amy. Welcome back. Dun, 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 dun. All right. Where was I? All right, so they told him to give their song to someone else. Ling Hucheng blah, blah, blah. Ling Hucheng bowed and took the music score manuscripts from Chu Yang with both of his hands and put it in his own pocket. Please, rest assured, I will definitely try my best, he promised. When Chu Yang had said that he had a favor to ask of him earlier, Ling Hucheng thought it was going to be something very difficult and dangerous. He also worried that to accomplish such a task might require action that would violate his school rules and offend fellow martial people in chivalrous schools. But he really could not refuse in the circumstance by then. Learning now that all they wanted was for him to find two guys to play zither and flute, he immediately felt much relaxed and heaved a sigh of relief. Yeah, I know, like rip Fei Fei, man. She really wanted Yilin to get together with Ling Hucheng. Like right until the very end. He's like, you guys, don't be stupid. Nephew Linghu, this piece of music not only is the ultimate lifelong work of the two of us, it is also related to a historical figure. A good amount of the melody in Smiling Proud Wanderer song was modified by Big Brother Chu Yang based on the Jin Dynasty musician Ji Kang's Guangling song. Liu Jiangfeng elaborated. Chu Yang was quite proud of himself for this one. It has always been it has always been said that after Ji Kang had died, the Guangling song was lost forever. Do you have any idea where I got it? He beamed at Ling Hucheng. They are obsessed with music. I don't have the slightest idea about music, and since you two do things so differently from other people, how would I have any clue about the answer? Ling Hucheng thought to himself. Senior Master, will you please tell us? He requested. Chu Yang grinned. Ji Kang was a very interesting guy. According to history books, he liked to speak with magnificent style, quoting from Lao and Zhuang, and enjoying the company of unusual people. His character was the type that I would have gone along with. Zhong Hui was a high official at that time. Hearing about Ji Kang's great reputation, he went to visit Ji Kang. But Ji Kang just went on with his blacksmith work and paid no attention to him. Put out by Ji Kang's indifference, Zhong Hui had to leave. Ji Kang asked him, "What did you hear before you came? And what did you see before you leave?" Zhong Hui answered, I heard what I heard before I came and saw what I saw before I leave. Zhong Hui, the fellow, was a really smart guy, but he was too narrow-minded. Because of this embarrassing encounter, he became angry and spoke ill of Ji Kang to Sima Zhao. Sima Zhao then ordered Ji Kang to be killed. Before Ji Kang was executed, he played a song with the zither. That was really a good display of elegance. But when he said that the Guangling song would be lost forever from now on, he really underestimated everybody after his generation. He wasn't the composer of this piece of music. He lived during the West Jin dynasty. Even if it really became extinct after the West Jin dynasty, what about the dynasties before the West Jin dynasty? Ling Hucheng was confused. Before the West Jin dynasty? He repeated in a mutter. Yep, Chu Yang nodded. I really didn't agree with that comment of his, so I started digging in the tombs of emperors and high officials in West Han Dynasty and East Han Dynasty. After digging in 29 different ancient tombs, I finally found the music score manuscripts in Kai Yi's tomb, or Cai Yi's tomb. He burst into loud laughter and was very content with himself. Ling Hucheng was dumbfounded. Just for the manuscripts of a little piece of music, this senior master actually dug into 29 different tombs. Chu Yang's smile gradually disappeared, and a bit of depression climbed onto his face. Little brother, he said, I know you are the senior apprentice of a famous chivalrous school, and I really shouldn't be asking you for this favor. But in such urgency, I really have no other choice but to get you involved. Please pardon me. Then he turned to Liu Jiangfeng. Brother, we can go now. Right, Liu Jiangfeng answered and extended his hand out. The two grabbed hold of each other's hand and laughed loudly. Amid the loud laughter, both gathered the remaining inner energy still left in them and burst the main arteries in their bodies. Within seconds, both shut their eyes tightly and passed away. Oh, you can commit suicide like that. How can he talk so much with burst arteries in his heart? That's how much energy he has. Senior Master! Uncle Master Liu! Ling Huchong shouted in shock and reached out to check the two's breathing, but found none. They are all dead? Yilin asked in shock, and Ling Huchong answered with a nod. Apprentice sister, let's bury the four bodies quickly, in case someone comes over searching for them and causes more trouble. We must under no circumstances ever let out the news that great Mr. Mo killed Fei Bin. He lowered his voice and said, if this ever gets leaked out, great Mr. Mo would know for sure that it was us who leaked the news. That would create major problems. Yes, Yilin agreed. But what if my master asks about it? Should I tell? You can't tell anyone. If you ever tell this to your master, and great Mr. Mo comes to pick a sword fight with your master, that would be disastrous, Ling Huchong emphasized. Remembering the outstanding and magical sword skills that great Mr. Mo had demonstrated earlier, Yilin couldn't help but shiver. I won't tell, she promised hurriedly. Ling Huchong slowly bent over to pick up Fei Bin's longsword, and then started poking holes in Fei Bin's dead body with it. Yilin didn't have the heart to watch. Big brother Ling Hu, he is already dead. Why do you still hate him so much? And want to torture his dead body? She asked hesitantly. Great Mr. Mo's sword is very thin and narrow. It would take a master no time to figure out who had executed the kill by checking the wounds on Uncle Master Fei's dead body. I am not torturing his dead body. I am just messing up every wounds on his body so no one would be able to tell, Ling Huchong explained. Yilin gasped. Why are there so many schemes in the martial world? It's really difficult, she couldn't help thinking. Seeing that Ling Huchong had thrown down the longsword and was picking up stones to throw on top of Fei Bin's body, she said hurriedly, Don't work too hard. Why don't you sit down? Let me do it. Picking up a stone, she placed it on Fei Bin's body, so gently as if the body still had senses and could feel the pain because of the stones. Yilin kept on picking up stones and soon covered the four bodies of Liu Changfeng and the others. Affectionately placing one more stone on Chu Feiyan's grave, she murmured. Little sister, if it weren't for me, you wouldn't have to suffer so much pain. I wish you would ascend into the heaven to enjoy all the happy things, and then in your next life get reborn as a male, performing many charitable and pious deeds, so eventually you would be able to enter the Western paradise. May the merciful Buddha preserve us all. Ling Huchong sat on the ground, leaning against a rock, thinking about how Chu Feiyang had saved his life, yet had to die a terrible death at such a young age. He couldn't help but feel sad. Even though he never believed in Buddhism, he still recited some May the merciful Buddha preserve us all, together with Yilin. Oh, hi, unknown. How are you? After some good rest, the pain from Ling Huchong's wounds lightened, so he took the book of manuscripts of the Smiling Proud Wanderer music score out from his pocket and opened it up. The book was filled with strange symbols, and he didn't even know a single one of them. His reading capabilities were very limited. Having no idea that music scores all used this kind of strange symbols, he thought that these were difficult words and characters he had never learned before. So he puts the music book back into his robe pocket. He raised his head slightly while taking a deep breath, thinking, Uncle Master Liu had given up everything, including his own life, for his friend. Even though the friend was an elder in the demon cult, both of them showed zealous passion and great courage, and deserved to be called true men. They are so admirable. I thought Uncle Master Liu was going to have his gold basin hand-washing ceremony and quit the martial world today. What really happened? How did he become an enemy of the Songshang Sword School? How strange. Still lost in his wild imagination, Ling Huchong suddenly noticed some flashes of sword reflections from the northwest corner in the distance. The sword moves looked very familiar. It seemed that an elite fighter in his own sword school was in a sword fight with someone else. A shiver ran through his heart. More fighting? Apprentice sister, wait here for a while. I will be right back, he muttered to Yilin. Yilin was still working on piling the stones for the graves and didn't even notice the sword flashes. She thought Ling Hucheng was just in need of nature's call, so she nodded. Using a fallen branch as his crutch, Ling Hucheng stepped forward. Picking up Fabin's longsword on his way, he hung it by his waist, then walked toward the direction of the sword flashes. After a short while, he could already vaguely hear the weapons colliding noises. The noises were so dense that they sounded non-stop. Obviously, it was a fierce fight. Which senior master in our school is in the fight? He thought aloud. The fight has lasted for quite a while. Apparently, the opponent is an elite fighter too. He bent his back and slowly sneaked closer. Hearing the colliding sounds get louder, he knew he was already very close to the scene. So he hid behind a big tree and peeked out. In the bright moonlight, he could make out a scholarly-looking man standing in the middle of the open field, holding a long sword. It was his master, Yue Buchun. A short Taoist priest circled around Yue Buchun in blazing speed and continuously thrust his sword toward him. In the time of one circle, he would have made over a dozen thrusts. This man was the headmaster of the Qincheng Sword School, Yu Changhai. Seeing his master in a fight with someone so unexpectedly, and the opponent being the headmaster of the Qincheng Sword School, Ling Hucheng felt very excited. He could tell that his master fought in a very relaxed and graceful way. Every time when Yu Changhai thrust his sword out, Yue Buchun would simply block it, leisurely. When Yu Changhai circled behind his back, he didn't turn around, but only waved his sword to protect his back. Yu Changhai's sword attacks became faster and faster, yet Yue Buchun only defended and didn't attack back. Ling Hucheng watched on with great admiration. Master's nickname is Gentleman's Sword, and he really is behaving like a polite, graceful, and elegant gentleman. Even when he is in a fight with someone, he didn't show any trace of violent brutality, none whatsoever. He watched some more and then thought, Master is able to control his temper well, because he has not only poise, but also outstanding kung fu skills. Yue Buchun rarely got into fights with anyone. In normal days, when Ling Hucheng watched him fight, it would always be a demonstration fight with Master Wife for the apprentices. Those were all fake fights, but this time it was a real one, so of course it was quite different from all of the demonstration fights. Ling Hucheng could hear the whistles made by Yu Changhai's sword every time he thrust the sword out, clearly showing the great strength behind each sword attack. I've always looked down upon the Qincheng Sword School. But this short Taoist priest actually is a very tough opponent. Even if I were healthy, I still wouldn't last 1 minute fighting against him. The next time I meet him again, I'd better watch out for myself. The best thing to do would be keeping a safe distance from him. Ling Hucheng told himself inwardly as he went on watching. By then, Yu Changhai had accelerated his circling around Yue Buchun. It almost looked as if a purple shadow had surrounded Yue Buchun and was rotating around him. The noises of swords colliding into each other had become so dense that all the sounds echoed continuously and making a long ringing sound. Ling Hucheng couldn't help but think, if those dozens of attacks were aimed at me, I probably won't be able to block a single one, and would end up enjoying dozens of holes in my body. This short Taoist priest probably has better kung fu than Tian Bo Guang. Seeing that his master still was not attacking back, he became worried. That short Taoist priest's sword skills are so stunning. I hope master won't lose to him because of any small oversight. Suddenly, a loud ring echoed in the air, and Yu Changhai had slid back like a shooting arrow. He stopped at about a dozen feet away and stood there, still. Ling Hucheng didn't even catch a glimpse of him shoving his sword back to his sheath. Greatly astonished, Ling Hucheng immediately glanced at his master. Yue Buchun had also put his sword back into the sheath and just stood there, quietly. The change happened in such an abrupt manner that Ling Hucheng had no idea who had won and who had lost the fight. He wasn't even sure if anyone had been injured internally or not. For a moment, the two just stood there quietly. Then eventually, Yu Changhai sneered coldly. Very well, I am sure we will meet again. After these words, he sprinted toward his right side without any further delay. It's like watching two legendary Pokemon fighting. That's a good one. Master Yu, wait, Yue Buchen yelled loudly. What about the Lin couple? He quickly chased after Yu Changhai, following the same direction. Before their voices fainted down, the two had vanished from sight. From the dialogue between the two, Ling Hucheng could tell that his master had won the fight with Yu Changhai. He couldn't help but feel great joy. But because of all his wounds and all the excitement, fatigue soon started to sink in, and he felt totally exhausted. Master has gone after Yu Changhai. With the level of Qinggong they are probably a mile away by now, he thought aloud. He leaned on his crutch and started walking back to meet Yilin again, when suddenly, a long scream floated out from within the woods to his left. The scream sounded miserable. Astounded, Ling Hucheng took several steps toward the woods. A yellow wall could vaguely be seen behind the trees, and it looked like the kind of wall of a temple. Fearing that his fellow apprentices of the Huashang Sword School might be injured in fights with the Qincheng apprentices, Fearing that his fellow apprentices of the Huashang Sword School might be injured in fights with the Qincheng apprentices, he strode in the direction of the yellow wall. When he was only about dozens of feet away from the temple, he heard an old and shrill voice speaking from inside the temple. Where is the evil resisting sword manuscript? If you tell me where it is with no tricks, then I promise to wipe out the entire Qincheng Sword School for you and avenge the couple of you too. Ling Hucheng had heard this voice before. That was when he was on the bed in Jade House, so he recognized the man easily. It was the hunchback of the north, Mu Gaofeng. Master is looking for the whereabouts of the Lin couple right this moment. Turned out the two are actually in the hands of Mu Gaofeng, he thought to himself. I don't know if there is actually an evil resisting sword manuscript, a man's voice replied. The sword arts of our Lin family had always been passed down orally throughout the generations. I've never seen a sword art manuscript. This one must be apprentice brother Lin's father, the chief escort of the Fortune Prestige Escort House, Lin Zhinan, Ling Hucheng told himself. Then the voice continued. Senior Master, I thank you for considering seeking revenge for us. Yu Changhai of the Qincheng Sword School had committed so many evil crimes. He would definitely have a terrible death. Even if he could escape you, Senior Master, he would die under someone else's blade, for sure. Are you saying that you are determined to keep this to yourself? I am sure you've heard about the reputation of the Hunchback of the North before, haven't you? Mu Gaofeng screeched with a threatening tone. Of course, everyone knows about your great reputation, Senior Master Mu, Lin Jinan answered. Excellent, excellent, Mu Gaofeng said. I wouldn't call it a great reputation, but you probably have heard about how cruel and merciless I can be, haven't you? I knew you would be torturing me, Senior Master Mu. Even if we really had the evil resisting sword manuscript, I would have never given that out, no matter how others combine threats with inducements. Ever since I was taken prisoner by the Qincheng Sword School, I've been tortured every single day. I don't have high kung fu skills, but I do have some hard bones, Lin Jinan said firmly. Well, very well, Mu Gaofeng pondered upon himself. Outside the temple, Ling Hucheng thought to himself, why is he saying well, very well? Oh, I see, that's why. Then he heard Mu Gaofeng's voice again. You claim that you have hard bones and can take tortures. The short bullnose of the Qincheng Sword School tortured you left and right, and you still didn't let the words out. If your Lin family ever had the evil resisting sword manuscript, then you would simply have no words to let out and wouldn't have to rely on your hard bones. I see. You do not. You do have the evil resisting sword manuscript. You just won't give it out, no matter what. After a short while, he heaved a sigh. You are really dumb. Wait. You are really dumb, you know that? He muttered. Chief Master Lin, why won't you give the sword art manuscript up? The sword art manuscript won't do you any good. You know what I think? I think the sword arts recorded on that sword art manuscript must be really ordinary. Otherwise, why you cannot even beat a couple of Chin Chung apprentices? This type of sword art skills is really not worth mentioning. You know what I'm saying? That's right. Senior Master Mu, you said it right. Even if I really had this evil resisting sword manuscript, such ordinary, good for nothing sword art wouldn't even enable one to protect his own life. Why in the world would you, Senior Master Mu, be interested in it? Lin Jinan said. I am only curious, Mu Gaofeng said. Since that short bullnose made such a fuss about it and dragged in so many people to pressure you, there's got to be something strange here. Maybe the sword art recorded in that sword manuscript is really high-level stuff. It's just that you are too stupid to understand it, and had to bring disgrace to the ancestors of your Lin family. Why don't you take it out and let me, a senior master, have a look at it, and point out all the advantages and good tricks of your Lin family's evil-resisting sword arts, so everyone in the martial world would know about them. Wouldn't that be better for your Lin family's reputation, too? Thanks for your kind regard, Senior Master Mu. Lin Jinan answered. Why don't you search me and see if I really have the evil resisting sword manuscript? Nah, no need for that, Mu Gaofeng declined. You've been the Qinchang Sword School's prisoner for many days. They must have frisked you up and down dozens of times. Chief Master Lin, you are really dumb. Did you know that? I am really dumb. I've got that part figured out a long time ago. I don't need others to point that out for me, Lin Jinan responded. Well, you don't understand. But maybe Mrs. Lin will. Who knows? Mothers tend to love their kids more than fathers, Mu Gaofeng said. What are you talking about? What has it got anything to do with my Pingzhi? What happened to him? Where is he? Mrs. Lin shrieked. The lad Lin Pingzhi is quite bright. I liked him the first moment when I laid my eyes on him. That kid surely knows how to behave himself. He knows that my kung fu skills are tough, so he had submitted himself to be my apprentice, Mu Gaofeng said. So my son had asked you to be his master, Senior Master Mu? That's really his good fortune. Because of injuries from the cruel tortures, the two of us could die any moment now. Will you please call our son over to see us one last time? Lin Jinan asked. It is only natural that you want your son to attend upon dying parents. That's easy, Mu Gaofeng smirked. Where is Pingzhi? Senior Master Mu, I beg of you, please ask our son to come. I'll never forget your kindness, Mrs. Lin pleaded. I had a voice for Mrs. Lin, but I'm messing it up. I forgot what kind of voice I gave her. Very well, I'll go get him right away. But Mu Gaofeng never likes to be ordered around by others. To get your son here is as easy as falling off a log, but you'll have to first tell me the whereabouts of the evil-resisting sword manuscript. Truthfully. If you don't believe me, there's nothing I can do to convince you. The two of us are already on the verge of dying. All we want is to have one last look at our son. If there were really an evil-resisting sword manuscript, I would have asked you to tell my son without your asking about it. Lin Jinan sighed. That's exactly why I think you are dumb, Mu Gaofeng explained. Your heart's arteries are already busted. I don't even have to touch you with a little finger. You'd be dead anyway. You simply won't last another hour. Why are you so stubborn and simply refuse to tell me where the sword art manuscript is? Obviously, it's because you want to reserve the Lin family kung fu that was passed down from your ancestor, But after you are dead, Lin Pingji would be all there is left in the Lin family. If he's dead too, then there's this sword manuscript, but there won't be any Lin family's descendants left to practice it. What good would that do your Lin family to leave the sword manuscript in this world? Is my son all right? Mrs. Lin asked in terror. Right now, of course he is all right. Once you tell me where the sword art manuscript is, after I get it, I promise I will give it to your son. And when he has questions, when he studies it, I can also give him some good pointers, so he won't be like his dad, Master Chief Lin, who studied the evil resisting sword art for his entire life and still had no clue about how to use it whatsoever. Wouldn't that be a better choice than smashing him dead with a knife hand chop? Smashing sounds rose from inside the temple. Apparently, he had just smashed some big objects into pieces. Oh my god, you guys are right. The Lin family? Hey guys. Hey Lin family. I love you guys. Wife, enough talks. He doesn't have our son. Otherwise, why wouldn't he bring him here and threaten to kill him right in front of our eyes? Lin Jinan said. Mu Gaofeng laughed out loud. He said, I said you were dumb, and you really, really are dumb. If the Hunchback of the North wants to kill your son, is it really that hard? Let's assume that he is not in my hands right now, but if I am really determined to find him and whack him, you really think it's going to be that difficult for me? I have friends and information sources all over the martial world. To find your darling baby son is like a piece of cake. Husband, if he really decides to give our son trouble, Mrs. Lin said to Lin Jinan in a low voice. Yeah, once you tell me, even if the both of you cannot survive, you still have Lin Pingji to carry on with your name. Wouldn't that be nice? Mu Gaofeng encouraged. Lin Jinan laughed. Wife, if we tell him where the evil resisting sword manuscript is, the first thing he'll do is to get the sword art manuscript. The second thing on the list will be to kill our son. If we don't tell him in order to get the sword art manuscript, the Hunchback would have no other choice but to protect Lin Pingzhi's life. As long as Pingzhi doesn't tell him, the Hunchback would never dare to harm him. You must understand the trick here. Wait, did he just say the trick out loud? Or was that a whisper? I guess it's a whisper. That's weird. You are right, Mrs. Lin said in agreement. Hunchback, go ahead and kill us, she yelled at Mu Gaofeng. By then, Ling Hucheng knew that Mu Gaofeng must be infuriated. If he couldn't figure out a way to draw Mu Gaofeng away, then the Lin couple would be dead in no time for sure. So he said loudly, Senior Master Mu, following my master's order, Huashang Sword School apprentice Ling Hucheng here invites Senior Master Mu to come out. We have something important to discuss with you. Man, Ling Hucheng is just getting into like all kinds of trouble today, isn't he? Alright, let's take a break. This might be the last break before the chapter ends. Dun dun dun. And I think I'm starting to slur my words. Alright, be right back. You are right, Mrs. Lin said in agreement. Hunchback, go ahead and kill us, she yelled at Mu Gaofeng. By then, Ling Hucheng knew that Mu Gaofeng must be infuriated. If he couldn't figure out a way to draw Mu Gaofeng away, then the Lin couple would be dead in no time for sure. So he said loudly, Senior Master Mu, following my master's order, Huashang Sword School, apprentice Ling Hucheng here, invites Senior Master Mu to come out. We have something important to discuss with you. In great rage, Mu Gaofeng had raised his hand, ready to strike down on Lin Junan's head, when he suddenly heard the words from Ling Hucheng outside of the temple. He was dumbfounded. It was rare for him to ever give way to others, but the headmaster of the Huashang Sword School, Yue Buchun, surely made him think twice, especially after his dreadful encounter with the divine arts of Violet Twilight of Yue Buchun outside the Jade House the other day. Probably Yue Buchun and his apprentices had been eavesdropping outside the temple for quite a while when he threatened the Lin couple. That type of deeds was really looked down upon by all the chivalrous schools. Yue Buchun asked me out to discuss something. He will probably pretend to make peace when the Lin couple and I, between the Lin couple and I, while actually casting sarcastic remarks. A wise man will never push himself in a disadvantageous situation. I'd better take off now, he told himself. Sorry, he said, after making up his mind. I really don't have any time. I already have previous arrangements. Please, tell your master that whenever he gets some free time, he is welcome to visit me near the northern border. I will be humbly awaiting for him. He jumped out of the hall into the courtyard, pressing hard on the ground with his left foot. He had jumped from the roof and then down the back of the temple. Afraid to be stopped and questioned by Yue Buchun, he disappeared in an instant. Good job, you just kicked him out. Just by threatening that your master is there. Hearing that Mu Gaofeng had fled, Ling Hucheng was so glad. Wow, this hunchback is really scared of my master. If he hadn't run away and decided to fight me, I wouldn't stand a chance. With the help of the branch, he slowly walked into the tiny temple housing the village god. The hall was enveloped in darkness. There was no lights or candles. He could only make out two shadows of a man and a woman sitting on the floor, leaning against each other. I am Ling Hucheng of the Huashang Sword School. Apprentice brother Pingzhi and I, Apprentice brother Pingzhi has also joined our school just recently. I'm here to pay my respects to Uncle Lin and Auntie Lin, he said with a bow. Lin Jianan burst with joy. Young sir, you are really flattering us. We are both injured severely, so please pardon us for greeting back. Is our son really an apprentice of the Huashang Sword School's hero Yue now? His voice trembled in the last couple of words. Yue Buchun had a much bigger fame in the martial world than Yu Canghai. Every year, Lin Jianan had been sending presents to the Qincheng Sword School to fawn on Yu Canghai, but he dared not to send any present to the Huashang Sword School, knowing that he would be in no position to make friends with one of the headmasters of the Five Mountains Sword Alliance. Now seeing that even such a ferocious Mu Gaofeng fled as soon as he heard the name of the Huashang Sword School mentioned, and his son so fortunate to have become an apprentice of the Huashang Sword School, he found himself in high spirits and his heart filled with joy. Yes, Ling Hucheng answered. The hunchback of Mu Gaofeng was forcing your son to become his apprentice, but your son simply wouldn't agree. The hunchback got mad and was about to harm your son when my master happened to be passing by. So master was able to save him. Your son begged master sincerely to take him as an apprentice. Seeing his sincerity and that he would make a good apprentice, master did not object. Earlier, master just had a sword fight with Yu Canghai and defeated him in the fight. Yu Canghai ran away and master chased after him in order to get the whereabouts of you two, uncle and auntie. But he didn't know that you two are actually right here. I wish Pingzhi could get here soon. We don't have much time left. Oh no, they're gonna die too? Lin Jianan murmured. He breathed hard, but it still seemed that more air was breathed out than in. He was really on the threshold of meeting death. Done. We're done. That was quite the chapter. So what happened? Those two, Chu Yang and Liu Xiangfang, those two died, and they left their song, written down, to Ling Hucheng. And his mission now is to go find two musicians, right? One flute player and one zither player to play that song. So that's his mission. And looks like he found Lin Pingzhi's parents now, who looks like they're on the brink of death. All right. Do we want to do karaoke? I'll do a song. I'll do a song. Give me some songs, guys. Hit me. I don't know new songs. I know a lot of the old songs. Um, so like modern stuff, I probably wouldn't know. But yeah, just give me some well-known songs. I think we can do it through YouTube. Yeah, I hope it doesn't lag again. This doesn't bode well. I think there is a delay with chat though. Longer than usual, I think. You owe us 4 death sound effects. Oh, I forgot. All right, let's give some respect to the fallen, okay? Especially Fei Fei. Poor Fei Fei. Yeah, guys, I think the chat is much more delayed after that little lag part. It's like a minute delayed for me. I don't know. Can we get some bells for Fei Fei? Yep. All right, let's do a bell specifically for Fei Fei. Oh, and that guy with the blood fountain death. This is him. That asshole. Yeah, the chat is mighty delayed. Now this sucks. Alright guys, give me some songs. Apple bottom jeans. I don't know that song. Dun, dun. Tub thumping? Hey, what is that? That sounds familiar. Is that we got the whiskey drink? We got the something drink. Oh, Bad Romance. I think we got it. I think we gotta go with that. Alright. I'm thinking Bad Romance, you guys. I think okay, we have a second on Bad Romance. Sound of Silence, that's good too. That's good too. I'm leaning towards Bad Romance. Chat is very delayed. Bad Romance. Karaoke. Yeah. We found it. Oh god. Alright, how do we do this? Okay, I'm gonna play the song first. I'm gonna play for a little bit and let me know if it lags, okay? If it kills the stream, then we can't do it. But if it plays fine, then we'll do it.
It was just a get together.
And we got an ad.
Felt fine, but now we're all sick. I just wish we had been more careful. So wear a mask. Go outside. Stay 6 feet
Wear a mask.
apart.
Do your
Stay apart, guys.
risk.
Wait. This is the wrong version, right? Oh, here it is. All right. I can't sing J-pop. Chat is like 2 minutes delayed. Jesus Christ. Should we go to Discord? No, you can't stream through Discord. Yeah, chat is like a minute behind, guys. I don't know how we're gonna do this. Respect for being able to sing after 2 hours of reading. But we're not sure if I'm able to sing. But I'm gonna try. Okay. You guys are so delayed. Fuck it. Just gonna do it. Testing. Hold on. I'm just checking the sound levels. Alright, well, you're welcome to sing along at home. I would prefer that. Rah rah rama rama ma ga ga ooh la la, I want your bad man. Rama rama ma ga ga ooh la la, I want your bad man. How does this go again? Shit. I want you everything as long as it's free. I want your love. Love, 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 I want your love. I want your drama, the touch of your hand. I really don't know this song. Your leather studded, kiss in the sand. I want your love. Love, 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 I want your love. You know that I want you, and you know that I need you. I want love and I want your revenge. Maybe we could write a bad romance. I want your love and I want that. You and me, we could write a bad romance. Caught in a bad romance. You think you know a song, but you don't really know a song. Ra ra rama rama ma ga ga ooh la la. Want your bad romance. I want your aura, I want your design. Cause you're a criminal as long as you're mine. I want your love. Love, 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 I want your love. Your vertigo stick. I want you in my room when your baby is sick. I want your love. Love, 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 I want your love. You know that I want you. And you know that I need you. I want it bad. Your bad romance. I want your loving and I want your revenge. You and me, we could write a bad romance. I want your love and all your lovers' revenge. You and me, we could write a bad romance. Caught in a bad romance. Caught in a bad romance. Ra ra rama rama ma ga ga ooh la la. I want your bad romance. You think you know a song? I want your love and I want your revenge. I want your love. I don't want to be friends. There's French in this? Je t'en amour. I don't want to be friends. I don't want to be friends. I don't want to be friends. Want your bad romance. Want your bad... Oh, no. It goes, want your bad rom. You and me, we could write a bad romance. I want your love and all your lovers' revenge. You and me, we could write a bad romance. Want your bad romance. Want your bad romance. Want your bad... Where'd that go? Ra ra Roma, Roma, ma, raga, oh la la. Want your bad romance. There you go. We're cutting that shit from the stream. We're cutting that shit from the upload. Jesus Christ. Awesome. Oh shit. No. That was terrible. Ah! All right, what other songs can we sing? This is terrible. All right, let's do something easy. You know, I thought I knew that song, but I really don't. You know how that, like, sometimes you think you know a song, but you only really know the chorus. Let's do some Green Day. All right. This should be easy. I'm gonna redeem myself.
Oh no. Did your game just get interrupted by an update? It's switching time. to a Chromebook that
Come on,
updates
YouTube.
automatically.
Ads.
Switch to updates without
Don't skip my
interruption.
ads though, okay?
Switch to Chromebook.
Don't skip my ads. You can skip these ads. Just don't skip the ads on my channel. I think I should know this song. Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you had the time of your life. So take the photographs and still frames in your mind, hanging on a shelf in good health and good time. Tattoos and memories and dead skin on trial. For what it's worth, it was worth all the while. It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you had the time of your life. Sing Chandelier. It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you had the time of your life. It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you had the time of your life. All right, last song. I saw Chandelier. Oh God, why do you have to do this to me? You gonna make me sing that song? All right, all right. Oh, the chat is like 2 minutes late. Jesus Christ. We want the not the acoustic version. Is there a David Guetta version, or is that the other song? Guetta. Oh, that's Titanium. All right, it's Chandelier time, you guys. Let's see how high I can go.
Toyota's Labor Day sales event ends Monday, so hurry in now. Just announced for Labor Day, get 0% APR on Camry
Toyota.
and Camry Hybrid, or get up to $2,000 cash back.
That's really nice, actually.
Don't wait. Toyota's Labor Day sales event ends Monday. Toyota, let's go places.
Body girls don't get hurt, can't feel anything. When will I learn? I push it down, I push it down. Yeah, I'm the one with a good time call, phone's blowing up, ringing my doorbell. I feel the love, I feel the love. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, drink. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, drink. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, drink. Throw 'em back till I lose count. I'm gonna swing from the chandelier. From the chandelier. I'm gonna live like tomorrow doesn't exist. Like it doesn't exist. I'm gonna fly like a bird in the sky. Wait. Feel my tears as they dry. I'm gonna swing from the chandelier. From the chandelier. Won't look down, won't open my eyes. Keep my glass full until morning light. 'Cause I'm holding on for tonight. Help me, I'm holding on for dear life. Won't look down, won't open my eyes. Keep my glass full until morning light. 'Cause I'm just holding on for tonight. On for tonight. Sun is up, I'm a mess. Gotta get out now, gotta run from this. Here comes the shame, here comes the shame. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, drink. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, drink. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, drink. Throw 'em back till I lose count. I'm gonna swing from the chandelier. From the chandelier. I'm gonna live like tomorrow doesn't exist. Like it doesn't exist. I'm gonna fly like a bird through the night till my la 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 la. I'm gonna swing from the chandelier. From the chandelier. Won't look down, won't open my eyes. Keep my glass full until morning light. 'Cause I'm just holding on for tonight. Help me, I'm holding on for dear life. Won't look down, won't open my eyes. Keep my glass full until morning light. 'Cause I'm just holding on for tonight. On for tonight. On for tonight. 'Cause I'm just holding on for tonight. Does he go on like this? On for tonight. On for tonight. 'Cause I'm just holding on for tonight. Oh, I'm just holding on for tonight. Oh, I'm just holding on for tonight. On for tonight. On for tonight. Yes! That was Sia. Look at that. I'm starting a band soon. Welcome to the jungle. You're not allowed to go down an octave. You know what the problem is? I can't hear my own voice. That's why.